So we're looking at part 2 of this movie called Zombeavers. And it was honestly so sad because, well, you'll see what happened in the first video. Hello, welcome to Altiori, and we're here to have some mega adventures. Let's continue the adventure of Zombeavers. Honestly, when that douchebag threw the dog in the water, I understand why he did, and he was trying to save everyone. But he was also making fun of it, saying it's just a dog. I get that there's some people who believe that way, but I feel like saying just a dog, oh, it's just an animal. Y'all keep that shit to yourself. Like, okay, it's just a fish. I wouldn't even say that shit. If somebody had a pet fish and they were really attached to that animal, even though I eat fish, I wouldn't tell them it's just a fish. Like, what the hell? Like I said, Tit Girl is really, really good at acting. Honestly, she does a great job. She's the best actor out of everybody here. And she's acting the same way I would act if somebody tried to take my animal and throw them in the frickin' water as a diversion. It does work, and they're able to get away. Meanwhile, the girl at the cabin is fighting off her own secret admirer. Apparently, this is the one that they killed before. It's in half. It should be dead, and it is still coming after her, which solidifies the assumption that these things are in fact zombies. Honestly, this part is the scariest for me, because this thing just leaps up onto the table, which makes no sense, because first of all, it's in half. How did it have the strength to leap up on the table when the other stupid zombie beaver things can't even jump? Like, it's so freaking dumb. But understandably, this girl is scared out of her mind. Why she doesn't just fling herself back off the table, I have no idea. Because I guess this scene has to happen, just like on the poster. This isn't realistic because you would have thrown yourself off the table. I would say beavers are like otters, but no, they're not. They're like the vegetarian counterparts. They do not eat fish, so this scene makes no sense. She stabs it in the head, which should kill it, but it doesn't. The group confirms that this beaver is indeed the one that they dealt with yesterday, the one that was in the bathroom. Of course, they're freaking out because that should not be possible. This beaver should not be alive. How is that even a thing? Being stabbed through the head, the animal once again shifts and moves, indicating that it in fact is not dead, or is. No matter what they do with it, it still moves, and now they're royally freaking out. Now because everyone is just heaving with excitement, tensions are high, and the girl who had her dog killed by that guy that was trying to save them all confronts him.
Look, I am sorry about the dog.
About the dog? It's my dog. You killed my dog.
Honestly, I don't blame her. I get why she's upset, and honestly, I would be upset too. I would really be upset too. I would be grateful to the guy because he saved our lives, but it's a really difficult situation, man, because I'm like, okay, I would have to be the one to kill my own dog. Somebody's taking that from me, like, that's my baby. I don't know, dude, because I get where he's coming from. I get why he did. I don't fault him for doing it. And as he said, he would choose the dog every time. Then he added the last part, which made me want to punch him in the nuts. And I don't like doing that because nuts are sacred. But just saying.
It's between us and a dog. I'm going to pick us every time. If that's what makes me an asshole, then so be it, man.
Asshole.
Oh, give me a break. It's a dog.
Fuck you, I hate you.
I get it. He doesn't get it. And to him, yeah, an animal life, or as something that you would consider to be a lower being, is not as important as your life. There are people who think that. My family grew up thinking that. But you know what? My family was willing for me to go into debt when my dog was dying, and they wanted me to do everything possible to try and save her. And I made the decision to put her to sleep because she was suffering. They didn't care. They loved her so much, she became like their grandchild. So she was like a member of the family. We've had that dog for over a decade, so it's so funny how their whole tune just changed because they fell in love with this puppy and took care of her, and she was a member of our household. She wasn't just those dogs that we kept outside, like in the country or where I grew up. Dogs were more so security systems back then, but I still love them. But they were more feral. You just had a lot of property on your land, and you had like 16 dogs roaming the land that were your animals, and that would maul people if they trespass. And that's totally okay where I come from. Because, you know, why would some random person be coming into your house 3 a.m. in the morning that the dogs have never met and don't know? But we become attached to our babies. We take care of them. We love them with a love that's so fierce. So when someone takes what you consider to be your child, no matter what species it is, and just like chucks it into the water and be like, surf's up, dog. Of course you're gonna want to kill that person.
You would take his side. I'm not taking anyone's side. Oh, yeah? Tell that to Jen.
Yep, at this point, what'd you think was gonna happen? She was keeping their secret, which honestly makes her just a crappy friend as any other, because I get it, it's not her place to tell anyone, but how can you be friends with Jen and not at least hint to her that, you know, by the way, our other friend is cheating on her boyfriend with your boyfriend? You get what I'm trying to say? Jen probably knew all this because she doesn't seem as bothered as we would think. So Tick Girl is like, yeah, by the way, the girl in the picture that your boyfriend was kissing was her friend here, Mary.
Mary, what is she talking about?
That's right, Jen. The girl in the stupid picture with Sam. It's fucking Mary.
Thanks, Zoe.
Why was she saying like Zoe did something horrible? Bitch, you betrayed your friend. And not only that, cheated on your boyfriend over here. And everyone knew except for him. And he's heartbroken while they're in the situation. All you can say is, thanks, Zoe. Thanks for being a bitch. Fool, you were the one who accidentally, apparently, fell into the guy or had him fall into you. Nobody asked you to do that shit. God, people make me mad sometimes. Jen is big about it and admits that they have bigger problems. They go with one foot because they only have a small amount of time to reattach his foot. But the house is surrounded by beavers and they're just lucky enough that they were able to get to the car. Remember the old lady that was talking to them before? Well, she notices that something weird is going on. The dog is sitting right by the chair with the husband, just minding their own business, and she's like, aren't you gonna go check it out? And the husband's like, if you sent me over there to go check on a whole bunch of college girls, I might just stay for the party. And she's like, ugh. By the way, we see him reach over and pet the dog. This is to set up later that the dog is not going to be there anymore and it would have been replaced by the beaver. This is so freaking stupid. This is not even where the movie starts to get retarded. Like, it just starts to become so unraveled. It makes me mad. Like, I feel like I'm watching something. I'm like, okay, aside from the puppets looking freaking stupid, I can deal with this. I think I can be able to survive long enough to kind of sort of enjoy this movie. And then it just takes a freaking wild ass Uno card turn. Our friends book it out of there. But of course, things can't be so easy. I was hoping it would be, but guess what? The beavers are smart now. Even though they are apparently the equivalent to the freaking undead, they are smart enough to know to put a tree in the middle of the road so their prey cannot escape. Of course, our tomboy gets out and he tries to, I don't know what he's doing with the truck, but it's a way out. And I'm like, yes, luck would have it that they just have a truck lying right there, right by the tree with no person in any direction. How convenient is this? But you know what? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. Whoever came up with that stupid saying? I mean, did someone ever find a horse that brought gifts and then they looked in its mouth and then something bad happened? I legit want to know because I'm really confused as to what the origins of some of these sayings are.
I'm sorry I never ate your pussy. Oh, I'm gonna go back and eat all of it one day.
Okay, well, you know, just saying, maybe if you did, you wouldn't be in this situation. Bazinga! Okay, so that noise was the beavers cutting a tree on this guy. You know what? Just a thought. If you have all that time to release that blood-curdling scream because a tree is about to fall on you, why didn't you dodge out the frickin' way? Just, I don't know, like, I could understand if the tree fell on him and then he was screaming, or there was a scream just as the tree hit him, but he was screaming for a good 2 to 3 seconds before the tree hit, and it's not like it's a small and very heavy tree and gravity's bumped up past 3,000. You had time to scream, so most likely you were screaming, standing up, flailing your arms, while the tree was taking its time and falling on you, because those trees don't just fling themselves down like a magnet crashing into another magnet. It takes some time for them to come down. So you had time to dodge out of the way. You wanted to be killed. This made me so freaking mad, you have no idea. Are these bitches laughing? Ay, Dios mío. Then the movie gets crazy. I love this girl's acting. She feels so out of place. It's like you're watching a really good movie whenever she's on screen. Her acting is so wonderful. I love this girl. So she's acting like a regular A-list actor. And then people in post-production put these memes in just to make it look funny. And it feels like it's so out of place because everything else is just so nonsensical. She's reacting in a serious manner, which I guess is supposed to make it funny or something because she's being uber serious about it. Like, what the hell? Where'd they get this person from? Seriously. Why was it just hovering in the air for what? What the hell? It's the hunter guy, of course. He picks the girl up with her boyfriend and she's like really uncomfortable around him. And he's spitting some facts because he's like, look, I can try to help you and your boyfriend, but that foot, you're just gonna have to call it a day because they can try to reattach it, but chances are it's not gonna get attached. And apparently you're not supposed to put ice directly on the tissue. I mean, I think I knew that because they usually have bags of ice and then the tissue's right on it. It's not like directly on the tissue, but it's better than nothing. I mean, I would have figured that because whenever you have a sprain or something and you have to put down the swelling, you never put ice directly on your own skin because it hurts. You put a bag of ice on your skin. So there you go. You learned something. Back at the cabin, the others are fighting for their lives. The beavers are outside, and of course, they learn in the encyclopedia that beavers are really good tunnelers, so they might be going under the house. The hunter guy comes back to the cabin with their other two friends. They try to get in, but they boarded up everything. And I know, beavers chew on wood. One of the characters said as much, but at least it would slow them down if they're trying to get in. Unfortunately, they are losing precious time. So they run off someplace close by, the neighbor's house. You see, this is why we're gonna get some property. I don't want to see any neighbors. I want a huge tree line all up and down the area so the neighbors don't even know I exist. That's the kind of property I want, like 10 or more acres, and the neighbors don't even realize that they have neighbors. The hunter staves off the beavers, and they move very slow on land. But with how well they can just jump at people and levitate in the air, I don't really think that matters. They make it to the cabin and check the place out. Unfortunately, the poor husband is dead, and most likely so is his wife. Look, a landline. This is great news, because now they can call for help, like they couldn't before at the other house. But sacre bleu, something is amiss. The landline is cut, almost like they did it on purpose. Man, these little shits are smart for little dead things. Back at the cabin, Jen, the blonde-haired girl, comes into the room. She takes off her clothes and gets ready to go into the bed with Mary, and we're like, okay, saw that coming too. See, apparently, Jen had the hots for Mary. So when Mary was seen kissing her boyfriend, she wasn't mad at Mary for going behind her back and taking part in the cheating affair. She was jealous because she'd been in love with Mary all along. Mary acknowledges this and says, you were mad because I was the one you wanted. And Mary's like, look, Jen, I love you, but I don't like you that way. You should at least give her a freaking kiss since you already kissed her boyfriend. Like, seriously, dude, what's wrong with you? Okay, maybe that's not helping matters, but just saying. Now, at first, it seems you're gonna see a little girl and girl action.
I love you, really, but I just don't think of you this way.
Yeah, so remember that twist I was talking about? Yeah, the people get bitten or scratched by these beavers, then turn into beavers themselves. So not only is it a zombie thing, now every zombified animal turns into a beaver.
I mean, really?
Right. Now we know that everybody else that got chomped off is going to have the same fate, even before they're dead. And the same thing happens to old Donnie Boy here. This girl is having the world's worst nightmare. She accidentally kills the hunter guy and then tries to make an escape. Everyone is fighting for their lives. The girl in the other cabin locks herself in the room, and everyone that was dead starts coming back to life as beavers. Having nowhere else to go, not wanting to get bit, she jumps out the window and does this crazy stunt trick. Meanwhile, the others at the cabin are playing whack-a-mole or whack-a-zebra? No, beaver, Jesus. Mary's like, take your shirt and all your clothes off so I can see if you're bitten or not. And they both decide at this time that they should engage in breeding sessions when these beavers are obviously coming up from under the ground in the floorboards. Jesus Christ, what is with these freaking people? A beaver turns out the lights, or at least starts a fire by plugging its teeth into the outlet. Like, these things are smart enough to kamikaze themselves. How do they even have intelligence at this point? Seriously. Then, of course, the ex-girlfriend comes up from under the ground and takes a chunk out of Mr.'s life hood. My meat sword, oh no! Maybe if you had it packaged properly, that would have not happened. Maybe if you hadn't taken this opportunity to use it at an inopportune time, you'd still have it, wouldn't you, you idiot? But this is the movie's way of giving him karma for cheating on the girl, I guess. Poor little Miss Muffet here is like, what am I gonna do? And all of a sudden, dun, 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 a car comes crashing through the wall and it's Tit Girl. They both get out and escape. But of course the hunter revives and he's a Zombeaver too. He still knows how to use a gun very well because of course they retain all of their stuff and then they hit into a tree and it's like, dude, you couldn't avoid the tree. You don't know how to steer the freaking vehicle. They do end up making it out of there, but then Mary gets really paranoid. She's like, how do I know you're not bitten? And Tit Girl is like the only smart girl there. She's like, well, I'm not. I got scratched all up, but you know what? You still have to wait for me to turn because if you don't, you'd be murdering me. I'm still me right now, so you have to wait. And just as she's telling her this, guess who's the one who's actually bitten? This poor girl, oh my god. She made it out of this, like, I feel so bad for her. She's the only smart one here and she made it out of all of this despite everything, even though the whole world's probably like this too. And she's smart enough to keep chopping and hacking the girl into pieces so she can't come after her. But just out of curiosity, why is the axe so freaking dry? She limps down the road, barely hanging on by a thread. Like, this would be a great time for the beavers to come out and just pursue her. But don't worry, she'll get out of there because a car is headed her way. Thank goodness she's saved. After all the stress in this movie, finally, our character needs a freaking win. Her crazy-ass friends, these crazy-ass beavers, it's about time that she has a little bit of relaxation. Remember, none of them have eaten or rested during this whole ordeal. And she just had to hack her friend to pieces.
Hey, you see that girl?
Yeah, I see her.
I trust you.
Zombeavers! Oh my god, this was a freaking classic. And just to make everyone else feel much better about what happened, I loved watching the bloopers and they had to put this in just to make us feel better because, you know, I told you why I ended the other the other video. Why am I speaking like this? I don't know. But we get to see some funny bloopers afterwards.
The dog's supposed to be scared of them.
Oh wait, that is Bill Burr. I was wondering why you guys kept saying that. I'm like, Bill Burr was in here where? And I'm like, oh yeah. What was he doing in here? You go, Bill. I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest. Anyways, all in all, this movie was fun and dumb and, you know, quite the adventure. But that made me happy seeing the puppy afterwards. Hope you guys enjoy this adventure. If you want to see it for yourselves, you can watch it on Tubi TV or run it on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.